for a higher juicy news. Mema Obibia Akwaba. Hadia latest hot nkwa eramede bremo. Enunti se unya subscribe to channel dia. Bomodia se obe subscribe. Dobe yana se obe click the subscribe button na wabele notification we yana sa video full bia be upload no when the first person wonsa ebeka sa video afi wubia na wa like video no give us a thumbs up na afi share ma ofufro so na when you be here na wo hu ensem dodo na ekoso ewo Ghana memo no afi tentemara yembura ye ensema abeto yepono so yiti sa report sa nkomo yekoso yiti sansemi.
Speaker can say Afenyo Markin is not part of it. Look at the other chairman sitting there. Kasongo was misbehaving, fooling himself, hitting the table. And when Emma Nima Kumonen Kwasia from a counter statutory table, no. And Madam Patricia Appiaje, she was the one supporting Afenyo Markin to do that nonsense. That woman, what's not parliament, and they were the ones telling Afenyo Markin, say, on your son on destructive process, no. Some Madam Appiaje no or one devilish woman or non parliamentar yan can ask them identity already what's not parliamentar so some cause some na uhu no ye Kasongo Afenyo Markin on a status in parliament into me pese we catch me busa ya Ghana ni na so want to Obama MPP now bu ofuntia what will make you vote for MPP in 2028 so ya Ghana ni and now your MPP ni and now to tia MPP what is going to make you vote for MPP in 2028? Anytime I catch it, I will say Afenyo Markin is sinking the party. Now MPP no more jiminti. They think say Obia wenya Rebisi Biano is intelligent. Okay? After vetting Ablakwa during the vetting catch Afenyo Markin say, "Whoa." In Kofona we are MP
juicy news on YouTube. Hot news.
What
all
Jomon
time.
say for 99 years. Na sansa na waje no omo wo kromo no ehin no moto nkopa asase because we already 46 years see aye mat na so we 21 years and unya asase a ye de amount for 99 years e kromo ade hye no e den no omo so omo nkoye Kasongo after that no even at the vetting Kasongo Afenyo could not give a direct answer say asase no Obua Yamfama 99 years. He moved away from the years waje assassin free a futu for him. 99 years. Now he started his radio tour to try and clean the Kasongoin or Kasongoism in him into Akwaha. No Akwaha. Now there's something I want you people to watch. And we are going to ask some critical questions, and I have a document to show you tonight. And nitina obi ji say Afenyo Markin Kennedy Agyapong mono ubuso mo say adena monje eyedien monje positions. They have a reason why monje positions. Now listen to Afenyo Markin very well on Joy News. Miwia ye bebusa a simple question because sanyoma obeka we nyina na ye wi de busa say o declare ne assets no sanyoma we o kan ni nyina no ade in his assets. Listen to Afenyo Markin. Kasongo Oyewi.
Ablakwa is one person I respect so much. We share the same esprit de corps. Is somebody we entered parliament together. He knows what is between the two of us. Some of his designer suits, I will ask him, Ablakwa, show me the design, I'll go and buy. He wears nice shoes. He dresses well, a gentleman, dressing, whatever. We relate well. Before his vetting, ask Ablakwa whether we didn't sit as brothers. I said, Sammy, there were things that you went overboard. I think if you make concessions, we'll be fine. Is that okay? Meanwhile, I was aware that this is Aura, guys, have been flying drones in Winneba on my property. I kept quiet. I managed it. They've been flying. They go to my beachfront property. They mounted a drone. They flew it from the community center just by the insurance, okay? And my boys saw it. I told them, ignore. When government changes, people do all manner of things. They went to my White House, the one at the veterinary area, flew, checking Winneba as well. Winneba. In Abelempe, you'll be there and you'll be seeing drones. In the morning, the policemen have been seeing it. They tell me, I said, ignore. Sometimes early in the morning, we see that behind the rail line, but I know that it is spying my house. What is the business of drones in the minority leaders' house? Meanwhile, I've lived in my Belenpe residence since for over 20 years. My firstborn is 21. I lived there before having given birth to Ian. Is that okay? My residence in Winneba, I've had my properties all these years. I'm a businessman. I am a well-established person. All these properties.
Are you able to respond to people who have also started questioning that, at least by the calculations they are making, you must have been 21 before acquiring that particular property? What were you doing amongst them?
Don't worry. Let's get there.
You are watching Juicy News on
briefly.
YouTube.
No, not briefly. It's an important thing. Don't say briefly. When we finished school, 1997, we had to stay home for 2 years. So I came to hustle in Accra. Through the hustling and schooling, I found my way at Ghana Post. So I was working as a post boy. Rose through the ranks to principal post officer. I was given a scholarship to go and study at Kivas. When I went to Kivas, 99, got in 2001, before I'd come into office. In July, when we vacated, I didn't go back to school because there was a career counseling and they introduced us into entrepreneurship. Okay. So I abandoned school. My colleagues know. I left Kivas at level 300. Okay? I didn't go back to school. I abandoned school to come and chase money. I bought my first Mercedes, my BMW. I still have those old cars packed.
Okay.
MFI, you must hear this. You brought it. Even if it is the last minute. No, you are not done.
But we've heard you.
No, you want to know. Please get the facts. And I started running my business. I had my wedding at age 23. My wife was 22. Is that okay? I started running Excel Courier, a multi-million-dollar investment. StanChart gave me $5 million facility. Barclays Bank gave me $10 million facility.
Now you're sounding like you may be bragging.
I'm not, because you need to know the fact.
I need to know.
I am
I've heard you.
At a younger,
but how do you respond to criticism?
Do you want us to have a conversation?
At least I don't want to go through
you
all
said
the
that some people said, how did I acquire? I wasn't in public service. Wait, you said some people are saying I was too young.
Of course,
and I'm saying that, sure, I will answer.
But you've answered.
Though I was not in public service, I started business early. I've worked for Guinness. I have my trucks. We're doing work for Diamond Cement from Tablibo to Togo to Aflawo to Bupe. My tankers haul from Ivory Coast all the way to Jos Plateau.
We can't go through all the things
my business in Awaso employed quite a number of people.
At least let's go back to the
I am not one of those people who would come in and I'm not a tenant. I am a landlord. I'm not somebody who will buy property and put it in somebody's name. I won't do it.
Okay.
I will never do it. It is my bona fide.
Yes.
And I am proud of my work. One power.
Did you get that land when you were 21 years? It's that so. Kasongo. It came out that you got a futu for asase 99 years lease. Waji. Asase over 200 acres. From the math on paper, it means you were 21 years when you got asase now for 99 years lease. It's a simple question. Did you get it for 99 years? And then number 99, no. That 99 years, no. And Afenyo Markin ever kind of biography actually, yeah. What
Hot
you
news all time.
Kasongo is a liar. The question was simple. And you they explain. Kasongo go down from here. Kasongo go open villa. Kasongo go budichi. Kasongo go Ponkwechi. Kasongo a foot for windy before say over 200 acres. Yeah, the amount 99 years. Yeah, calculating my. I was buying the land. This was how much I put in. That's all. Jantra Okoboy at the age of 17, who cares? 23. So this is a liar. This is a bloody, dirty, filthy, charismatic, chronic liar. In his lies, he believes it. And you know one thing he does? Anytime he's found or he's caught in a web, He does not even allow you to talk. Well, let's have a conversation. Let's have a conversation. Like they are shitting. You are having a conversation. Oh, let's have a conversation, Emefa. We are having a conversation. The lady was straightforward. The 99 years lease near the mountain. No one is saying, how did you afford? It's simple. A futu for young people, and obia owo futu bia bewu. Asa kwaba bewu. Na sa asasana wa Jeffrey omunsebuno. Enyo omodia. That is the question. Let's have a conversation. That thing he does is for him to think. And you see, the more you explain yourself, the more you put yourself in a ditch. You know why? Let me ask you. Let me tell you something. The question is to Afenyo Markin and say, I didn't say whatever he said. He spoke about his beachfront property at Winneba, White House at Ablempe, his White House at Winneba, Ablempe House, his BMWs, his trucks going to Togo and Nigeria, his businesses. The question is, has Afenyo Markin declared all these assets as a government official? Has Afenyo Markin? Yeah, the emphasis say Jimmy. When I say a public servant, because when you read the Constitution, that's what it says. I don't want, you see, Afenyo Jimmy to the point to say they're all penal, then sabeka. Because you see, when you're a liar and you are daft, you expose your dick, and that is what Kasongo is doing. Kasongo 99. Now, when you read our Constitution, this is what it says. Chapter 24, Code of Conduct for Public Officers. Afenyo Markin has been a public officer for over 12, 16 years, right? Yes. Or 12 years, let's say. Now, let's read this document. 286, it says, Declaration of Assets and Liabilities. 286.1, a person who holds a public office mentioned in clause 5 of this article shall submit to the Auditor General a written declaration of all property or assets owned by or liabilities owed by him, whether directly or indirectly.
You are watching Juicy
B,
News on YouTube.
Within 3 months after coming into force of this constitution or before taking office, as the case may be. B, at the end of every 4 years. And C, at the end of his term of office. So Afenyo Markin came on TV. Now we know he's a billionaire. He's buying Lamborghinis. He has trucks going here. Now when we go back, let's take a step back. Has Afenyo Markin, who is calling for equity, who is trying to say people are not declaring, somebody, has Afenyo Markin as a public servant or somebody who occupies a public office, has Afenyo Markin declared all the things he was stating in this video? See a police documents ni PR. Can Afenyo Markin tell us, say, he has declared every single thing he's talking about? And you see, the reason why I say Kasongo 99 or your Kronfon and say, oh, say, there's a reason why me, I don't take positions. I'm a businessman. The same thing like Kennedy Agyapong here. What they do is they put their people in positions to milk the state. Always see I'm been our transport ministry, no, under MPP, no, it was Kennedy Agyapong's boy. Into Oba Ayetema port one year, and every transporter they took over it. That is what Afenyo does. It took cocoa border. Was a lobby, not in Nipa Kwesiwo. Then they start to steal the cocoa beans. No, a lobby. So what they do is say they don't want to get into ministerial appointment, but what they do is they put their people there, and then indirectly the people give the contracts to them. Into someone media ministerial appointment to minimubi. That is what they have been doing. Into Kasongo, in his rush to tell people so about Brano, we are asking him a simple question. All the things that he was stating on TV or saying to us, has he declared to the Auditor General? And if I go in and I pull Afenyo Markin from 2016, your declaration forms, am I going to see all these things there? Because you are telling me that you have been a businessman all these years and these are your properties. When you're dealing with a foolish man who backs a lot, you don't talk that much. You wait. You take your time. You let them commit themselves. On a lawyer, I am not a lawyer. So Afenyo Markin, we are asking you a simple question. All the things you were stating, you have this, you have trucks, you have this. Have you declared them? Can we see it? Because I can pull those documents. And I can show Ghanaians whenever you entered parliament, I can show Ghanaians all your asset declaration forms. And I will let Ghanaians know what you have declared. Meaning, you have to be in jail. And I'm about them. You see, sometimes, V8 Kasongo, he's not smart. He's not intelligent. Because we have this on record. And you have stated all these things. That what? What dear? You are a businessman and you have all these things to your name. So if you have all these things to your name that you are proud of and telling the world that you own, have you declared them? Because you are a public servant. This is what the Constitution says. I am not making it up. We want to know, if we decide to pull all your declaration forms out, will we see all the things that you are talking about? And you, Afenyo Markin, you owe banks or the cat. Afenyo Markin or the mo huna enyeska onisike bia or your kromfoa. He steals from banks. Afenyo Markin pese huno. He's boasting and telling Ghanaians that he has money. See this. This is Afenyo Markin. You see this document? This is a document from Access Bank. I mean, show idea. Look at this document. This is from Access Bank. Kasongo is owing Access Bank. Now, Osha sa company na obo ni din say Excel Korea. And also he owns the Square Logistics Ghana Limited. Now, loan defaulters. The following loan defaulters of Access Bank Ghana Limited or 0244939944 to settle their indebtedness or debtedness. So this is Access Bank. Documents are the Access Bank car. This guy is working in Ghana, making it look like say, ono nam Ghana no, ono ondi boni. He's owing Access Bank, and they have tried everything to get their money. He has not paid. Now you see the first company, the Square Logistics Ghana Limited, Alexander Afenyo Markin, on it Kwame Asante, they are owing 18.4 million.
We need to get to the bottom of that matter. That money is a lot more than what we borrowed from the IMF. Thank you.
I appreciate you, Counsel. Thank you very much. But with the preparatory team's work, will any loot be recovered? Does it look like you can recover any loot, so-called?
Oh yes. That one is there are low-hanging fruits that you see that even at this preparatory stage, as you mentioned, we don't have the mandate to do vigorous investigations and prosecution, right? We are just gathering evidence. And even at this gathering stage, you see that based on some of the petitions that we saw, straight away we reported to the police and national security, and they were able to take action. So you see that yesterday at Honorable Ablakwe's vetting, we were able to show that we saved 20 bungalows that were about to go down in cantonments. 20 bungalows, and if you look at the lands, those are millions of dollars, not Ghana cedis. Yeah, because they were about to demolish and do some transactions that are not on. Okay, so we've halted, through the actions of national security and the police, those have been halted. So those are some of the fruits of the preparatory team. You remember the NDA matter too? Yes, the NDA to the wall, the partitioner of that land, etc., sold to private developer. You see that we went and then reported to national security, and they too, using police, they were able to do the needful, and so those were halted. There are other things. You remember the agric mechanization land? Yes, those empty plots there, who is going to build on them? No, they are not going to be built. So those ones who, that's land that's being recovered for the state. So that you will see a lot more. In fact, you will see a lot more, just even for the preparatory team. Because once we are citizens, we are allowed to report. If we see anything wrong, we are allowed to report. And so the police and national security can take action in the interim. Yes. I keep telling you that, not just you, I keep making the point that I think that the setting up of the constitution the setting up of the committee by JM. It's a master stroke. Yeah, that much, I believe so. Because you see that if we hadn't started this early, what would have happened is that by the time the government settles, so a lot of bad stuff would have gone through. So with the early setting up of the committee, you see that it served as a check, at least to some extent. It cannot be 100% perfect, but it's a reasonable check. So this committee is actually a master stroke.
I see. In fact, I would spend a little time on this oral preparatory team as we go on the show, and because from what we got earlier, what this essentially means is that your work has come to an end with the appointment of the Attorney General. And so the indication that Okudzeto Ablakwa gave yesterday was that you were putting your report together to submit to the president, correct?
Yes, yes.
In the coming days?
Well, practically now, it doesn't look like it's in the coming days, maybe in the coming weeks. Yesterday, we were billed to meet the Attorney General, Dr. Ayene. But because of the vetting, you know, Honorable Ablakwa was scheduled to be vetted on Thursday.
Yes.
Then yesterday, Friday, would have met the Attorney General. But because the vetting couldn't come on Thursday and it had to be done yesterday, then the meeting got cancelled. So we'll have to meet the Attorney General first before we meet the President. So maybe we should say in the coming weeks.
In the coming weeks?
Yes.
Okay. But then you maintain that you received 1,000 or a near 1,000 petitions.
Yeah, let's correct this. Some of them are information. Not petition. So what some of them are is that somebody will send an email that, hey, watch this institution, X, Y, Z. There's something ongoing. Some huge payments are being made. Or that. So that is not necessarily a petition. The petitions generally are the ones that the person has details and can show some specifics of wrongdoing. But we are not underestimating the importance of the leads. Those are important because when you get some of those, then you can inform the appropriate institutions to, you know, also look into those. So we are very, 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 very grateful for the leads, the tapes, the petitions, etc. Other management of the Parliament House, they should look at it again. Make it happen in a place where everybody who wants to attend can attend. If we were to make it in a place where a place that can seat 1,000 people, hopefully it shouldn't. We shouldn't have such overcrowdedness and etc.
Well, this is what we have right now, and this chaos that we saw. In fact, the chaos started way before it got into the conference room itself, because we also observed that the door to the entrance of the building that has this conference room where the vetting is taking place, that glass door was also broken. We will put that on the screen in a bit. But when you got there, because Okudzeto Ablakwa was scheduled to be vetted on Thursday night. So it was that night that the incident happened. And then we saw that chaos on the screen shortly. What exactly was running through your mind when you saw that level of chaos? And this is the door, the glass door that was destroyed. And this is the entrance, way before the chaos happened. So the point you make about the number of people as well, yes, we can point to this and say it's something that could be considered, because the people were forcing themselves in.
And yesterday it was worse. I'll tell you a certain story. Let me put in a short one and then go to what I saw there, the reactions. Look, yesterday too, as I said, because they said only 10, each nominee should come with only 10 guests, it was so bad that a certain MP coming, I don't want to mention names, I want us to get the lessons rather than just mentioning names. A certain MP wanted to come out, but because people were struggling to enter, it became so frustrating for the MP that the MP referred to somebody's spouse as a fool. Now look at this fool. Yeah, because the MP got, so I'm not even mentioning the gender. I want us to concentrate on the lessons, what we should do. Yeah, that MP was so frustrated, like the MP wants to come out. People are pushing him. Then the MP said, excuse me, and some other words to that effect. Because there was so much force from those who want to enter, she wasn't getting her way. Then all of a sudden, the MP said, look at that fool. Yeah, and that was somebody's spouse, somebody big up there. So all of us, you can just imagine. So you see the frustration that the MP experienced at the door, one of those doors. The next thing was that, look at this fool. Oh yeah, it was so terrible. So now
let's move to what we are saying now with the minority whip.
Yes, he said they had agreed to vet 4. There were other persons who also, I will remember the names, who also came out and said 4, right? And earlier in the day, I heard on City FM, the names of 6 were rather mentioned to be vetted, and even there were complaints that, can you finish 6 in one day, considering how the vetting of Sam George went over 5 hours, right? So far, it appears there's some credibility to that story that a certain number was agreed upon, that 4. But let's note this carefully. Before they agreed on the 4, or even if you use 6 for Thursday, remember that earlier on, they had sent letters to some of the nominees. So there was a timetable prior to the happenings of the Thursday. And the first incident that disrupted the timetable was the fact that on Wednesday they couldn't sit because they had to deal with Oliver Bakavoma's case.
Yes.
So it disrupted the timetable. So you see that yesterday, Ablakwa had in his hands a letter that had been written earlier to him that he was scheduled for Thursday at 1 p.m. So you could see that it was a timetable that had been disrupted, and they failed to communicate to these nominees that, based on the fact that we couldn't sit on Wednesday, your appearance on Thursday would be affected. That is where the problem came from. So you see that eventually yesterday, Afenyo Markin had to apologize to, apart from the chairman of the committee apologizing to the nominees and their families and all of us. Afenyo Markin too eventually did, because earlier in the day he had addressed a press conference where he made statements that were unsavory, etc. So he apologized. So that's what really happened. So it means that if we are analyzing the fact that there had been a timetable which obviously was disrupted, and so that Thursday they had agreed to do 4, or even if you take it 6 nominees, it means that that agreement supersedes their earlier timetable. The only problem is that they failed to communicate to Honorable Ablakwa and co. But the point is that those doing the vetting had agreed, the MPs, the committee had agreed that whether you go by the 4 or you go by the 6, that was the number that was agreed upon. So if you try to go beyond 4 or 6, there will be a problem. So to that extent, unless there are any other facts that I'm not aware, you can see that this protest, putting the chairs on the table per se for now without any further distraction is something that I think, we can accommodate within our democracy. Because sometimes, they tell you that actions speak louder than words. So if we keep protesting that, look, we are going away, and maybe the chairman and others will not budge because they have numbers. If you lifted your chair and put it on the table, that per se hasn't gone too far. I think we can accommodate that. Where it goes too far is when it got too physical, and you find Jerry, a lawyer, lifting the table. Then you find the other MPs.
That's
also,
what on the screen there.
Yes, but earlier on, Jerry, who is a lawyer, had lifted the table by himself. I hope you have that.
Let's go back a bit, yes.
Yes, there is that video too before these other ones. Then there was also the MP who was in the cream suit. Yeah, he also did a lot of pushing. The MP in the cream suit.
So the Jerry Ahmed is what the person
you see. Even later on, you see another one. He alone, he lifted it up. It was more than I could take. It was more than I could take.
And all these,
so this
all
one,
the people holding the table are MPs.
Yes. So you see, this one is the latter one. You find at a point here alone lifting the table. So it's like matters had calmed down. Then you find he alone lifting. So presumably, if you see him pushing back, that means that these MPs you see in your shot, then they must be in the minority because he's pushing against them. Do you see that? Do you see? If we went back to the extent that Jerry was pushing against these MPs and the policeman, then it means that these MPs must be the majority. That's the NDC MPs because there's no reason why he'll be pushing against them, right?
Right.
So he did. Yes.
Right.
This one. Yes. You say.
Yes,
so what we're saying is that at least the beginning, the putting of the chairs on the table, as I've said. For now, until maybe I'm shown superior facts and arguments, I will not quibble that much with that. But where it got to pushing the table, breaking it, and then in actual fact, hurting them, that's where it went overboard. It went overboard.
Brother, I don't know how we justify it. It's not. I don't agree with my brother Martin.
Why is that?
Martin is my guy anymore, but this one is...
No, I said, to be specific, I said at the time when they lifted the chairs, just that one.
I don't agree with you.
So let's get the specific.
The chairs on the table
this one.
I don't agree with putting the table.
That's the one
is allowed.
That's the one I said.
You would allow this?
Yes. Why? Because, as I said, you see, sometimes communication, maybe the person is not hearing well, so I say, look, I'll do a little bit just for you to see that this is my protest.
No, but comes to that
it's
so many other ways.
Oh, don't forget, I'm the same person that when Oliver Baka from our went and did the stance at the 37, the Galamsey fight. Say, now let's draw consistency. Yeah. When Oliver and Co went to 37, the demonstration, did you say you supported their actions or not?
No, I didn't support the blocking the road because of where it was. There will be safety. People are going to the hospital. We shouldn't block their access.
There have been notice of that demonstration for months. No, so we're saying that there's not just one entrance to 37. There are several. If the police had planned well,
I support the Galamsey fight. I was very happy to have citizens like Vomawo, yourselves, get on the streets. We should see more activism in the country. It captures or draws the attention of politicians properly. But, this is national TV. We are not a people without a culture. And our children are watching. Is this what you want them to see? I understand what, Martin, you are trying to say, that it's not as bad. That's what Martin is saying. It's not as bad. We could have lived with it. But I don't think we should live with anything.
Yo, ebuson for winning and someone about beto. Yep, so because so when you subscribe to channel idea, Bomodia say be subscribe. Now fee what like video, don't give us a thumbs up. Now fee share my or for so now when you be here now and someone ekoso ewa Ghana me Muharam. Also bit me otchere wadring afire and some way ewa comment box anymore. Mobeti minkabium in my next video.
Thanks for watching. Like and share the video. You can also drop your comment. Please don't forget to subscribe. Click on the bell to turn on the notification.